There have been a lot of great Maxes throughout history, but what has more smarts than this Max? Is smoother than this Max? And more savage than this Max?
Now, Maximilian, calm down. Don't pick on small people.
The iPhone 13 Pro Max. This is a review of both Pro phones in this year's lineup, but my time with them and just about every other high-end phone released in the States this year has me asking, is this the best smartphone hardware released this year so far? I actually think it just might be. Let's get into it. Hey, if any of these videos on this channel have helped you, if this video helps you, please consider hitting us with that thumbs up, clicking that subscribe button, and clicking that notification bell so you'll be notified when we upload the latest videos or for our weekly giveaways. So, let's start with what you're going to notice first, the displays. You're going to get 6.1 inch and 6.7 inch displays, which are bright and easily readable outdoors thanks to a peak outdoor brightness of 1000 nits. These displays also support up to 1200 nits brightness when you're watching HDR videos and looking at HDR photos. This is an important note because the Super Retina XDR Pro Motion displays also support HDR, HLG, and Dolby Vision. And as I was doing other testing, looking at how Apple's displays compare to others, I found them to be brighter when watching darker scenes in my test video from Season 1, Episode 4 of The Witcher. This bathtub scene was actually darker on some competition, but is nice and bright here, with the shadowy areas of the image in this scene having less noise and more clarity than I've watched on other devices. Thor Ragnarok's meeting with Surtur almost takes on a three-dimensional appearance because it is so sharp on this display, something you won't experience on many of the FHD Plus displays that manufacturers have fallen back to. By the way, I noticed this level of sharpness even on the standard 13 and 13 mini. Apple totally nailed displays across their line this year. And our Planet looks great, with the highlights in the upper part of the image not blown out, but reproduced appropriately. And as I pointed out in my standard and 13 mini review, you can see the depth and detail in images like this with the eel right here. Now, with these larger displays, you might have some concern about how they affect battery life. No worries. I took care of figuring that out for you with a 30-minute streaming video test, streaming Thor Ragnarok over a weak 5G connection, which taxes the battery harder. The Pro Max saw 5% battery drain with only a 3-degree increase in temperature. I did the same with the Pro, but over Wi-Fi, and it lost 5% as well, with a 5-degree increase in temperature. So, for a 2-hour movie, you're going to see an average 20% drain on your battery. But let me be clear, Apple's A15 Bionic is a delicate, dainty, pinkies up sipper of battery power. The Pro got through 12 hours or more with 30 to 50% battery left, depending on how hard I hit it that day, and I had to actually work to kill the Pro Max and couldn't. My best day was 18 hours off the charger with 8.5 hours screen on time with 25% battery left. It was like The Walking Dead, except this phone's Energizer Bunny stamina was giving me life. Normally, I go through my daily routine, which is already pretty heavy use, generally speaking, but in this case, I added activities to my days just to push the battery drain. This included streaming Spotify and Apple Music and Tidal lo-fi hip-hop playlists for an hour or more while working and making some homie check-in calls with greater frequency than usual, so that I could call and burn through some of that battery. For the Pro Max, there will be some of you that will be able to get 2 days out of this phone before needing to charge. And while this isn't the fastest charging phone on the market, you can get up to 50% battery charged in around 30 minutes if you own a charging brick rated at 20 watts or higher. Some bloggers out there are reporting that with some high watt chargers, they've seen 28 watts or more, though not consistently. You also get wireless charging via MagSafe at up to 15 watts or via Qi Wireless at up to 7.5 watts. The Pro models also got the Pro Motion display this year, but they're even better than the iPad Pros in that their dynamic refresh rates have more levels than the iPad Pros, which should help with battery life. To show the difference in how smooth navigating iOS 15 is with the new 120 Hz refresh rates, here's a slow-mo video of my iPhone X and then the iPhone 11 against the Pro Max. Once you've used a 120 Hz panel, it's hard to go back to 60 Hz. And the rest of the hardware, you're going to get stuff you already know, like the alert slider on the left, along with the volume buttons and the power/sleep wake button on the right. The SIM tray is also on the left. All of these sit on a glossy stainless steel band, which gives the new Sierra Blue a beautiful jewelry-like quality to it, complemented by a matte back Sierra Blue, a new color for Apple, and on the front there's ceramic shield protecting this gorgeous display. People have said that the flat edge designs can be unwieldy and that the Pro Max is heavy, but I like both. I've been asking for a beefier design for some time in an effort to have more space for a larger battery, so I'm not complaining. Speaking of larger things, this year's front-facing camera actually shrunk in size without compromising camera quality. The 12-megapixel true depth camera also has cinematic video this year as well. This is cinematic mode on the front camera on a overcast, beautiful day here in sunny Southern California, which is probably why I look so sexy. It's that overcastness. And while the front camera equipment may have decreased, those rear cameras and computational photography have increased in size. You now get a wide angle with an f1.5 aperture mated to a new 1.9 micron sensor, which should allow in more light for better photos, and an ultra wide with a larger 1.8 aperture. We'll get into the video modes in a moment. For the photos, the cameras capture solid images already, but they've added photographic styles to the mix, which allows you to change the tonal and contrast qualities of the photos to suit your personal tastes. Here's an example of a photo taken in standard mode and enriched contrast mode. And here's my Funko Pop in vibrant mode, in warm mode, and in cool mode. Notice the difference is in color temperature or tone and not in color saturation or intensity. You can tune each mode further to your liking as well. The thing which sparked the most joy for me in these cameras though, the improved macro mode. Now you can get as close to objects as 2 centimeters with the ultra wide camera, and the shift between the wide or telephoto and the macro mode is instant. I actually caught myself taking more macros with this new setup, and you learn that getting clean macros is a skill unto itself, but I've been pleased with the results. A very cool side benefit to this macro love is iOS 15 lookup. I take a picture and the phone tells me what I'm looking at. I've gone into detail about this with other videos, but you go looking back through your photos and see the info notification pop up and get curious. Oh, so that was an elm tree I was taking a picture of. And speaking of cool features built in, one of those cool features built into the video side of this camera system is the new cinematic mode. I walked you through it with the iPhone 13. Basically, Apple uses object tracking and its neural engine and all the bionic power to know when you want to shift the focus in a video from one person or thing to another. It does all of this automatically. You just press record. I'm actually quite impressed with what this feature does, and I think it'll be a cool tool for young aspiring filmmakers. Now, I have to say that gaming on these screens, and the Pro Max in particular, is a wonderful experience. It's smooth and lag-free, and of course looks beautiful. But it's all of this processing power and AI which are fun to play with. Using the Wayfair app and placing furniture is easy and smooth. Other phones I've tested, when you place the furniture and move the camera, for example, everything gets choppy. Not so with the 13 Pros. And then you take into account apps like Peak Visor, which show you the mountain ranges in your area so you can go for a quick or a long hike. The app loads lightning fast and navigation is smooth. Another thing that was fast was the connections I was getting. Using the phone on T-Mobile, I was seeing download speeds of up to 700 megabits per second around town. And the good thing about the iPhone 13s is that stateside, they have just about every 5G band available right now built in. So no matter which network you're on, you should be able to get the most out of whatever flavor of 5G they're pushing. This is more critical for networks with robust mid-band and low-band, as millimeter wave is still not widely available. Many of us in the tech space thought that these were going to be just incremental upgrades for Apple this year. But these Pro models are so much more. The 5-core GPUs are at least a couple generations ahead of their predecessors. Cinematic mode is a fun step in a creative direction. The macro photography is inspirational. And these devices overall are just a blast to use. Coupled with a lot of the new fun stuff in iOS 15 and the stamina of the batteries, especially the Pro Max, I can highly recommend these phones to shoppers looking to upgrade from an iPhone 10 or lower. And if you have the discretionary income, I'd even upgrade from an iPhone 11. I'm Tshaka Armstrong. That's all there is. That's the iPhone 13s. They do so much, and it's going to take you some time to go through all of them, but it's a fun time. If you have any questions or anything I didn't answer in this review, please go ahead and leave those in the comments below. I'll get to them. Love chatting with you. I will catch you on the next video.